Good morning, dear students. My name is Dr. Shuaib Mohammad Bhat. I am working as Assistant Professor in the Department of English at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today in this video lecture, we shall be discussing about technical writing in the IT industry. What is the role of technical writing in IT industry, information technology? So what is the role of this technical writing in IT industry? We shall be discussing this in this today's video lecture. Let's start with the introduction. So technical writing in the IT industry, it involves the creation of clear, concise and accurate documentation that helps users understand and use software, hardware and other technical products. So when we talk about technical writing, what is the role of technical writing in IT industry? And why is technical writing required in IT industry? So we can simply say we require this technical writing in IT industry because of several reasons. Number one is to create clear, concise and accurate documentation. Because see, writing is not only, as I told you when we were discussing writing skill, there we talked about how writing is a skill and how can we attain effective writing and what are the advantages and what is the importance of effective writing. We communicate with the help of writing. We convey our ideas, our information, our thoughts, our opinions to other people with the help of writing. So it's writing which helps us to convey our ideas and messages to the other people. So with the help of writing, we communicate to the people. We make people aware about the advantages and disadvantages of different things with the help of writing. We make people aware how to use an equipment, how to use an object with the help of writing by writing user manuals, by writing manual guides, by which people can understand how to use an object or what are the different things which we should take in consideration while using an object. So same is the case with the technical writing in IT industry. IT industry is not like, it's not that thing where only software is required, where there is no place for writing. No, that's not the case with IT industry. Writing is also required there. So we require writing in order to write the brief, clear and accurate documentation. And what sort of documentation is this and where is it required? What can we attain by this documentation? This documentation, it helps us to understand, it helps users to understand and use software, hardware and other technical products. So by this writing, a user can know how to use a particular software. A user gets to know, or a user becomes aware about the usage or how to use a particular hardware, a product, or how to use another technical products. So this is the usage of technical writing in IT industry. It's not an industry where writing doesn't have any place. It's not any industry where writing cannot survive or where writing cannot cater some needs. So writing is essential in IT industry. It is because of this writing you make end users know about the benefits and about the usage of certain softwares and different elements or different objects, different hardwares or different technical products. It plays a crucial role in conveying complete information to various audiences, including end users, developers, system administrators, and supporting teams. This technical writing, it plays a crucial role in conveying complex information to various audiences. We can provide or we can just transmit the complex information. We can transfer, we can convey the complex information to the users to audiences like end users. End user is a user who purchases a product or who uses a product. Who uses a product, who is the end user of a product. For example, a company is manufacturing cell phones. Then it is being sold to the wholesale dealers. They purchase it to the retailers. Then they purchase it to a person who uses this phone. Now the last customer, last consumer, last person who sells this phone for his or her own purpose may be called the end user of the phone. It's not the company is not the end user of this product. And in the same case, if the company is not the end user of the product, like we have the people who are these wholesale distributors, they are not also the end users of the product. Retailers are not also the end users of the product. It is a person who purchases this product for his own use. He or she can be called the end user. So we can convey this complex information to different audiences like end users, developers, software developers. So technical writing helps them to understand crucial concepts. Administrators and supporting staff and support teams can get lot of benefit, can get lot of advantages by technical writing. So we can say technical writing is badly needed in IT industry. It's not like they're the people who only love or who only like softwares. So technical writing has its own place in the software industry, in IT industry. Now let's talk about common concepts, common components of technical writing in IT. What are the common key components of technical writing? Key components. Number one is user manuals and guides. Why should we take on the board this technical writing in IT industry? Number one is user manuals and guides. We are purchasing a lot of softwares. We are purchasing a lot of products. Every product is having a user guide, a user manual. Nowadays, everybody prefers to do online shopping. We purchase things online. It's not like that traditional marketing where you go to a store, you purchase a product, and the person and that salesman and the person who deals with that product, he or she tells you everything about that product, how to use the product, what are the merits, what are the different features of the product. So you get to know those features from the person who sells it. But now when we just switch towards online shopping, so we do not have any person who can give us demo. Rather, we have user manuals, we have user guides along with the products. So it is from those user guides, from those user manuals, we come to know about the features or about the usage of that product. So by this technical writing in IT industry, we can provide end users with step-by-step instructions on using a software application or hardware device. In IT industry, this technical writing is needed because of this technical writing, we can provide the end users. I told you, end user is the last purchaser of a product, of a software, of anything, who uses that software or product for himself or herself or for his or her business. Means the person who finally unveils a product and uses it. That can be called the end user of a product. That can be called the end user. So we require this technical writing in IT industry to provide end users with step-by-step instructions, so that we can give step-by-step instructions to end users about a product or about any software which they have purchased. So to provide instructions, step-by-step instructions to the users, we require technical writing. It's different from academic writing. It's different from literal writing. It's technical writing. You need to take care of certain things, different things. You need not to just be personal there. No need to introduction. So you have to give the technical points to the audience. Because the user of any product may not be interested in your personality, may not be interested in your company. He or she is interested in the product which he or she has purchased. So you are confined to provide step-by-step instructions only about that product. Once you are done with the successful convenience or successful delivery of the instructions, then at the end you can introduce your company or your firm. So this is technical writing, this is not academic writing where you talk about pros and cons, where you give introduction, where you give conclusion, where you set up the body in different paragraphs. No, you have to speak here with the bullet points. And they should be short and precise. How can a person follow your instructions when they are stretched or when they are extended in 4 or 5 long pages? So that would be boring for a person to go on all the instructions. And you need to take care of the language. The user of your product may not be a person who belongs to the elite class of the society. He may not have proper knowledge of difficult words. So you need to just encrypt your information in simple or lucid diction. So the purpose is this: to provide end users step-by-step instructions on any product. It may be hardware or software. And what is the content? What you can include in your instructions? You can include screenshots of the product. Like you can show, first you need to switch the start button. You can portray a diagram there where your focus is on the switch or on this main button or start button. Or you want your audience that this product should be linked with the electricity. It needs electricity. Then you can show the port in the diagram where you can insert that electric cord. So screenshots are required, diagrams are required, and troubleshooting tips to enhance user understanding. If there is any problem, it's better to include troubleshooting these tips. For example, if there is a product which is prone to any virus, which is prone to any problem, so you should include the solutions to such problems. So when you are including such solutions to the problems, it gives a clear understanding to the user. A user may rely on your company. He or she may purchase more objects or more things from your company. That's not our topic here, how to just allure the customers or how to make our business successful. Right now we are talking about technical writing. So to provide technical writing is needed in IT industry in order to provide troubleshooting tips to the users. Then audience. So what are you writing for? You are writing for end users with varying levels of technical expertise. When you are writing this manual guide or user guide, you need to keep in your mind the level of technical enterprise, because you are writing to large masses, to a large population. So you need to keep in your mind the technical variations, their technical expertise. So a person is purchasing a software. He or she may not be good at softwares. So your writing should be such that it can be understood by a person who belongs to medical background, a person who belongs to academia, a person who belongs to engineering section, a person who belongs to some civil services. So there should be a universal language. So we should avoid some difficult words, difficult phraseology, phrases or jargons. Then API documentation. What is API documentation? It's Application Programming Interface API. Now what API documentation is? It assists developers in integrating and using an API. Technical writing, it assists developers in integrating and using an API. So API can be better used with the help of technical writing. What is the content? Detail API endpoints, request and response formats, authentication methods, and example code snippets. So we have detailed API endpoints, request and response formats are required for API. Authentication methods we can better just portray them, convey them with the help of technical writing. Now, for what you are writing this stuff for API, so it can be used for developers, software engineers, because they require this API, application programming interface. This can be better encoded in technical language or in technical writing. Then, system and network documentation. What is system and network documentation? What is the purpose? So, see, document system architecture, network configurations, and hardware specifications. So, we can document, we can write the system architecture of any object, network configurations, we can encode them in technical writing, and hardware specifications, the specifications of different hardware products, we can encode them in technical writing. Now, content is include diagrams. We can include diagrams for that. We can show them with the help of flowcharts and detailed description of components and connections. And what is the audience for whom we have to write this system and network documentation? Is it's required for system administrators, network engineers, and IT support team. So these are the people for which we require technical writing. Why? Because we need to document system architecture, the architecture of a system, the whole layout, the whole framework of a system. Network configurations, it may not be used for an end user. It may not be used for a common person, for common people, but it can be used for system administrators, network engineers, IT support team. So for that thing, we require technical writing in order to encode this stuff. So it can be the content used for this encoding may be diagrams, flowcharts, and some detailed descriptions are also welcome. Then release notes. What is a release note and what's its purpose? Release note is used to communicate changes, updates, and new features in software. You set up a software and you published that software in the society. Now people have purchased that software, they are using it. Now you are making certain modifications in the software which can be enhanced by the users. So these changes, these updates, these new features of software, it can be written, it can be encrypted or encoded in technical writing. So technical writing is used in IT industry so that you can tell people, you can aware people about the new changes, about the status of updation, about the new features of different softwares. You can show them to the people with the help of technical writing. What is the content used for this technical writing? That is summarize enhancements, bug fixes. Bug here is any unexpected problem in a computer. The word bug means any unexpected error or problem in your computer. That's bug. So bug fixes and potential impact on existing functionality. So you can include such fields in it. Enhancements. If there is any enhancement, you can summarize that with technical writing. If there is any bug, you can fix that problem. You can provide the solution of those problems with the help of technical writing, and you can potential impact on existing functionality. If there is any potential impact on existing functions of a system, you can include those impacts in technical writing. Then, so this is used for end users. Obviously, I purchased a software. Now new updates are coming, so I require those updates. End user, somebody is system administrator that require, and team support also requires it. Then we have troubleshooting guidelines. So it is also required for troubleshooting guidelines. What is this troubleshooting guideline? You purchased any software or any hardware, but it's prone to certain problem. For example, you purchased a laptop, and it's having any problem. So a problem in any software or problem in any hardware, like speakers are not working, or different, the touch is not working properly, screen issues are there. So different problem, your keypad is not working properly. So for every problem related to software and sometimes related to hardware also, we should, those problems, the solution of those problems, that can be given to the audience with the help of technical writing. So the purpose is help users and support teams diagnose and resolve issues. How can you find out the problems? So you can diagnose the problems in your software or in any hardware which you have purchased with the help of technical writing, because you have a manual guide which tells you. For example, if your keys are not working, you should go there. You should go to this setting. You should go to control panel. So if the software stops working, so you need to go to this software. You need to install this software. So in order to resolve these issues, we need technical writing, because with the help of technical writing, we can encrypt these solutions. So what it contains? It contains step-by-step procedures for identifying and fixing common problems. The content which is required for this troubleshooting is to provide step-by-step procedure and identifying and fixing common problems. Then, so for what this information is required, it may be required for both end users and supporting teams, supporting staff also. Then, what are the best practices for technical writing in IT? What are the best practices for technical writing in IT industry? Number one is know your audience. Now you are writing the features of any software or any hardware. How can you better convey this message to the audience? How can you know that you are successful in conveying this information? No doubt feedback is there, but sometimes people are not giving feedback. So the best practice is to know your audience. Before writing any feature, before writing any instruction, it's always better to know your audience. When you know your audience, then only you will be successful to promote or to inculcate or to convey the main idea to the public. So number one is C. Understand the technical proficiency of your audience and tailor the documentation accordingly. You need to understand the technical proficiency of your audience. Technical proficiency of your audience. How sound your audience is when it comes to technology. For example, you are writing the instructions of any software. First, you need to know, are the people aware about the software, about its use, how to install it, what features it contains, how it can work in a system, how it can be put in use for different practices or exercises. So you need to know this thing, how proficient your audiences are, your people are about a certain software or hardware on which you are writing instructions. So the first thing is know your audience well. And then when you know your audience, then you can craft the documentation accordingly. Now you come to know, yes, your audience, they are not mediocre audience. They know this product well because they had been using its base version. So that means you can go with the technical terms. You need not to define technical terms. You need not to use a diagram in order to show your audience where is the start button, because they are using its base version. Now for the updated version, you need only to give instructions. You need not to show the cord, show the plug where you can insert that electric wire or electric cord, because people are using it. So when you know your audience, then only you can tailor your message or tailor your content accordingly. Then clearly define the terms and provide explanations for concepts that may be unfamiliar to users. And it's better for you to clarify the terms. So whatever the terms are there, it's better to define those terms. These terms may be related to a product. There may be any term which is unfamiliar to the common masses. It's better to define that term, or it may be about terms and conditions for using an object or a software. So we should give clear information when it comes to terms and conditions, or when it comes to any difficult term regarding a concept, regarding a product. And we should provide explanations for concepts that may be unfamiliar. The concepts which are unfamiliar to your audience, you should provide the explanation for that concept. Avoid jargon or use it sparingly, providing explanation when necessary. We should avoid jargons. Jargons are the terms which are common in a particular profession. For example, if you go to the medical background, if you go to the hospitals, the place where operations are conducted, we call that operation theater. So nobody among doctors or nobody among the medical staff tells you operation theater. They call it OT. The doctor is in OT. So different terms are there. These are the jargons, which are the terms which are common in a particular profession. So in every field we have jargons. But when we are writing some instructions for the public, when we are using technical writing in IT industry, we should avoid jargons, because your product may not be purchased by the people who belong to a particular section of society. So you can, if it is so, then you can use the jargons of that society, which are common in that society. No. It can be purchased by the people who belong to different professions. So you are not free to use jargons. You are bound to avoid jargons, because it should be a common language which can be assessed, which can be understood by the people who belong to different professions. Then, so the first practice for technical writing is know your audience. Then, use consistent and clear language. Maintain a consistent writing style and terminology throughout the documentation. The style should be consistent. The way you started giving instructions to the audience, to the users, so you should follow the same way up to the end. No need to change your style. You are writing in the simple language, and in the meantime, or after giving one instruction, you started or you switched to the complex sentences. No. Maintain the style. Maintain the style of the simple sentences from beginning to end. And maintain the same terminology throughout the documentation, because that would be easier for the people to understand. As I told you, we need to avoid jargons, because jargons are used in a particular profession. Then, the next point is visual elements. Now, what are these visual elements and how can they help you in the technical writing? Visual elements, they incorporate visuals such as diagrams, screenshots, and flowcharts to enhance understanding. So we need to just incorporate visuals such as diagrams, screenshots, flowcharts to enhance understanding. We all know the best mode to make people understand our talk, our dialogue, is the visual mode. When we hear people, we understand them, no doubt. We understand them. But when we show something which is being enacted in front of us, when people show us the activity of that thing, so we better understand that thing. Because this is the power of visuals. So when something or some concept is being shown to us, we understand that more clearly. We retain that information in our mind, because we see the real form of that thing being enacted in front of our eyes. So it's better to include some visuals such as diagrams, screenshots, flowcharts, so that audience can understand our instructions. Then ensure that visuals are labeled and referenced appropriately. Now you are talking about, for example, you are giving the instructions of how to use a laptop. Now you need to show the switch button. So when you are talking about the first step, means when you are giving the instructions about how to start a laptop, at that time you need to label that diagram with this element. It's not like you are talking about how to switch on a laptop and the diagram is given at the end where it is written how to shut down the laptop. No, that may be considered as faulty instruction. So every diagram, every figure, every screenshot which you are using for instructions in technical writing, it should be labeled and referenced appropriately to the point which you are discussing with the help of that diagram. Now you want to show how to install a particular software in a laptop. So if you are using a diagram of, for example, of any browser, which we need to install that program, so that this picture, it should align to that vertical where you are explaining about that browser. So that's what I mean by labeled and referenced appropriately. Then version control. What is this version control? We need to implement version control for documentation to track changes and updates. In order to track changes and updates in a particular product, we need to implement version control. Then, clarify, indicate the version of the documentation and corresponding software or hardware version. And this technical writing, it helps us to indicate the version of the documentation and corresponding software or hardware version. We can show public which version this particular hardware belongs to and a software belongs to with the help of technical writing. Then we have interactive documentation. What is interactive documentation? Consider using interactive documentation formats such as clickable prototypes or live code samples when applicable. Consider using interactive documentation formats. We have some interactive documentation formats. Like you will see when we are going to purchase anything on any website. So there comes a pop-up like chat to talk. So we can communicate with the people, with the company where from we want to purchase anything. Or we have code samples where we are just going through the codes on certain samples where applicable. So by that we communicate, by that we check whether the product which we are purchasing, is it reliable or not. So interactive documentation is this. We need a documentation which we require for interact with the users, with the end users, with the administrators, with the supporting teams. So that interactive documentation, for that we have certain formats like clickable prototypes or we have live code samples. So we use different these formats when they are applicable. What is the function of this interactive documentation? Enable users to navigate easily between sections and find relevant information quickly. By this, a user can quickly navigate from one section to another section and can easily get quick information. By sampling the codes, by matching the codes with certain samples, a user can get quick information. By going on these clickable prototypes, a user can quickly get required information. Then we have collaboration and feedback. Foster collaboration between technical writers, developers, and subject matter experts. Now, another important element for technical writing is this: it fosters collaboration and feedback. Feedback is much needed. You launch the product, now you do not know means how successful you are in the product. No doubt, at the first when you launch the product in the first the phase of your production or first phase of your launching, lot of users purchased it. But with the help of feedback, you come to know how good your product is, how durable it is, how reliable it is, how helpful it is for the public. So feedback and collaboration, it can be achieved with the help of technical writing. Technical writers, they know how successful they are while providing instructions or while providing different information to the users, to the developers, to the administrators. So in order to maintain that link with the technical writers, with the developers, and with the subject matter experts, technical writing is required, because it's this technical writing which makes such people to get in contact with the help of feedback. So when people provide feedback, so it gives birth to the collaboration. Then encourage user feedback to continuously improve and update documentation. So we need to encourage user feedback so that we can improve and update documentation. Documentation can be improved and updated. For example, I purchased a product, and when I went through the user guide or user manual, I found the things are not explicit. I found the things are not in sequence, they are not in order. Some of the steps, they are skipped. Now I can give the feedback, I can write that the user manual, it should be updated. It should include all the steps which are required in order to use your product. So to update the documentation, we need feedback. So feedback is much required for technical writing. Then consistent style and formatting. What is this style and formatting? Establish a style guide to maintain consistency in writing, formatting, and terminology. When you are writing any user manual or user guide, it's always necessary to maintain a particular format. Because see, your users, they find it easy to find different information. Why? Because you have selected a common format. And your common format is allowing the users to get the information quickly and to go to those sections only where they expect the information may be found. So this can only be made possible. This can be possible only when we are following a common, consistent style and formatting. So a technical writer in IT industry has to follow a consistent style and a consistent formatting for his or her drafts. Then use a consistent format for headings, subheadings, fonts, and spacing. It's always better to use a common format for headings, subheadings, and spaces, as a common spacing, a common font size. Because your users, they know when they read your one manual guide for one product, another for another product. So when you are following a common pattern, they can easily navigate the information. They easily know where are the important instructions written. They easily know where are the terms and conditions written, because you are following a common format. You are consistent in formatting your document. You are consistent in providing the style of your document. So it's important to maintain a consistent style and formatting. Then collaboration with subject matter experts. So what is this collaboration with subject matter experts? SME, subject matter experts, work closely with technical experts to gather accurate information. Now when you are writing for any company, for any product, so it is always better to stay in touch with the technical experts. A person who produced a product, a person who made a product, who manufactured a product, for a technical writer, it's better for him to stay in touch with that person, because it is he who is going to tell you what are its benefits, what are its disadvantages, what are its features. So if you are attuned with that person, you can give exact information to the public. That means your technical writing will sound better to the people. And seek feedback from subject matter experts to ensure the technical accuracy of your documentation. So when you remain in touch with subject matter experts, your document will be accurate. So you are ensuring the accuracy of your documentation. Your document will be accepted by the public, and that can provide better information to the people. Then user-centered approach. What is this user-centered approach? Prioritize the needs of the end users, anticipate their questions and challenges. It's always better for you to prioritize the needs of your end users. You should give priority to the needs of end users. End user is the person who is the last purchaser of a product. So it is he who is a real purchaser. It is he who is spending money for your product, who purchases your product. Companies, different these wholesale distributors will purchase your product, but they can only purchase it when they have end users, when they have the common public who are purchasing it. So it is always better for you when you are a technical writing, when you are writing any stuff in IT industry, you need to keep the needs of end users in your mind. And you need to anticipate their questions and challenges. What are their needs? What are their demands? What are their challenges? Anticipate those challenges. Conduct usability testing if possible to validate the effectiveness of your documentation. It's better to conduct a usability test. How far your documentation can be used. You should go with the demo. You should check by your own self whether your documentation is really leading a customer to use a product, to use any hardware product or any software product. It's important for you if you have the possibility to go with the usability test so that you can come to know whether your documentation is effective or not. So here I would like to just make a quick revision of all this technical writing in IT industry. I talked about introduction. I gave you the introduction, what technical writing is in IT industry and what does it involve and why do we require. Then I talked about key components of technical writing in IT. I talked about user manual and guides. Then I talked about API documentation. What is this application program interface and what sort of documentation is required for this? Then I talked about system and network documentation. What is system and network documentation? How can it includes network configuration, system architecture, and hardware specifications. All this thing you need to encrypt its details that can be encrypted in technical writing. Then I talked about release notes. How can you speak to the people? How can you aware people? How can you convey people about your new updates, new changes in your software or in your any product? Then I talked about troubleshooting guidelines, then best practices that among them one is know your audience, use consistent and clear language, visual elements are there, version control is there, interactive documentation is there, collaboration and feedback is there, consistent style and formatting is there, SME, that's collaboration with subject matter experts, user-centered approach is there. This is all for this topic. If you want extra information, you can consult these sources. So here I would like to just stop. Thank you. Thank you for listening me carefully. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.